Fran Salamita made this great documentary about the heyday of Boston comedy called When Stand-Up Stood Out.
Right.
And it was all about the transition between these guys being these local comics that were as good as anyone in the world.
Yeah.
And then Steven Wright becomes famous.
Wow.
And then Steven Wright gets on the Tonight Show. He becomes this world. Was it Letterman or Tonight Show that he first did? I forget what it was, but he becomes huge.
Yeah.
And then they're all now. Everyone's like scrambling. Like, what did we do? We didn't have an act that translated outside of Boston.
Yeah, that's true. Back then, it was very Boston.
Very, very local.
Steven Wright, definitely, in my high school, holy shit, everybody knew it was like Rodney. He was like right after Rodney.
You would repeat his jokes.
You couldn't believe it. And everyone was like, he's fucking so smart.
I used to work at a fire hydrant factory. You couldn't park anywhere near the place.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
I think I tried to write like him in the beginning. I think I, as a stand-up, did like 10 different guys. I didn't know who I wanted.
Right.
I didn't know what was right. I was doing like Bobcat kind of shit. I'd do a character. I didn't know what the fuck. But Steven Wright, me and my buddy, we'd kind of try to write in that vein of a little weird and make you think, and what a cool joke. I don't fucking know.
But I also remember all those guys got popped by the IRS. Because they
stand-ups?
Yeah, they all got popped because none of them were paying taxes.
They
were all getting paid
in
cash.
Yeah.
And so they all got in trouble. I remember working at Nick's Comedy Stop. They offered you could get paid in cash or in Coke.
Yeah, I remember those days.
That's how wild those days were.
Yeah.
And so these guys were just animals. They were all getting paid cash. They were drinking and partying every night.
Yes.
And they were headlining. And there's one time during the heyday where Nick's Comedy Stop had 3 rooms running simultaneously.
That's right. Yeah.
And they'd have 2 shows a night in each room. So these guys would do 6 sets.
Amazing.
And they were making bank. And they all had a deal.
Yeah.
Like the way Nick's had them set up where they were Nick's Comics exclusives. So they would just work for Nick's. But they gave you so much work.
Yeah.
You didn't want to branch
they
out. You didn't
the
want
road
to do the road
too, right?
They've had a few road gigs.
I remember Bill Downs was. Do you remember
Connection.
Bill, He used to book me on the road too.
I worked for a private investigator when I was starting out, when I was an open micer, and this private investigator was Bill Downs' cousin. And I didn't find out about it until after I started working for him.
Wow.
And to this day, one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life. Just never did stand up. His name was Dick Dolan. He would call Dave Dolan rather. He called himself Dynamite Dickless Dave Dolan. And he would
Dickless Dave.
He was fucking hilarious. I have a phone that he died a couple years back, but I have a phone that I saved and I'll never get rid of because it's got a voicemail on that phone from him where he called me up.